officials have expressed concern over families and individuals that are being evicted. In fact, my COVID-19 medical.
So the governor is now speaking.
Recommended reinstatement of an eviction moratorium to reduce increased community.
He is extending the 2.0 stay-at-home order, and he's giving all of his reasons right now. And there it is. He's extending it. So the stay-at-home order started on November 24. We were on a 3-week pause. He's extending the same order, but if you want to hear the rest, it's live right now. Oh my gosh, the dog keeps coming up to me. So he's talking about how he thinks that Nevadans shouldn't be evicted. Hold on, I'm gonna turn this light off above here.
It mitigates the risk of spread and infection. As I've been clear from the start, this moratorium does not, repeat, it does not relieve renters from their obligation to pay rent to their landlord. The state has already created and provided.
Hi, thanks for joining.
Where landlords and tenants can work on.
Hi from San Diego.
The moratorium will apply to all tenants unable to pay rent.
You're like on lockdown.
31st. Will not.
Let me put on a light on my face so you can see while this is playing.
We also have rental assistance program up and running throughout the state, so renters can have some of their own rent for 2020 paid.
Like I said, he extended the stay-at-home order statewide pause.
Currently expire at the end.
That's going to affect
this month. And we need
so much here in Vegas, you guys.
Going forward.
I'll do a live commentary. Let me just plug in this light.
Of some of our landlords. I know I've asked the landlords to sacrifice during this pandemic. I'm asking you to again do more for a few months so that we can push through what I hope is the last surge.
2 more months, he's saying.
I will do everything I can do to continue to push for economic
2 more months
for impacted landlords. This is one of dozens of areas of economic assistance that we are hopeful that the federal government will help provide. With the extension of this pause, the eviction moratorium, the cooperation
good people won't be evicted,
and a vaccine on the horizon, I'm hopeful we can continue to stand together in this fight against the virus. We are fighting the virus. We cannot fight one another. There isn't a day that goes by when I don't balancing act that Nevada faces. And I know how the tightrope that we must walk is more pronounced here than in any other state due to our economic structure. I want you to know.
I'm trying to hold back what I really want to say.
We have record cases and our hospitals are under increased strain due to COVID.
Can you hear him okay?
Our families are suffering economically, with unemployment rate remaining in the top 2 highest in the country.
This is true.
Assistance available. Some say we've gone too far. Some say we aren't doing enough. I understand both sides. The last 9 months have been full of decisions with no winning options, leaving us to determine which choice.
Oh, so as this is trying to reconnect, it's true. I know some people in my family that can't work because they it's a stay-at-home order. And even though casinos are open, the hotels aren't open, not the whole hotel.
Mitigation policies that stem the tide. That must happen now. That is a very stark departure from their message and actions over the last 9 months. It contradicted and undermined recommended mitigation measures touted by respected public health officials.
That's the governor.
Throughout the country. But nonetheless, I agree with them. The problem we have is the mitigation policy that most successfully stemmed the tide in Nevada was our complete shutdown.
You should see the people on the chat.
A big check for Nevadans A plan
There's a
to
whole bunch
provide
of
our
thumbs
civil
down.
funding to give our families a safety net in this time of great
They're calling him a
tribulation is downright
CCP
unjust
puppet.
and offensive. A shutdown is
And then somebody goes,
unrealistic
there he goes,
support.
blaming Trump.
And I realize I owe to all those events who may be monitoring our COVID trends right now. Wondering why
Somebody's
I
saying
don't
shut it down. Somebody says
So let me
Metallica. It says
I've said
Metallica.
repeatedly that we are trying desperately to balance public health and the impacts to our economy. But I want to be clear about what I mean when I say economy. What I mean is impacts to our families, their ability to feed themselves and their kids, keep the lights on, keep a roof over their heads, earn a paycheck, and keep their benefits that allows them access to health care. And right now, our families in countless Nevadans are teetering on the brink. In our first months of the pandemic, Nevada lost 250,000 jobs, 250,000 jobs, reaching an unemployment rate of 30.1%, the highest level ever reported by any state in modern history. For reference, during the Great Recession,
Highest in
Nevada lost
history.
approximately 180,000 jobs over nearly 3 years. Unemployment benefits are established for a full year. And due to the pandemic, nearly 142,000 Nevadans have completely exhausted that eligibility, with the vast majority unable to file again until mid-March 2021 or later. Let me repeat that.
Well, then do something
Without
about it.
additional federal assistance, the majority of these 142,000 Nevadans will have no further unemployment benefits available to them from the state or federal
It's gonna
government.
run out. It's gonna run out.
This is a stark difference from the spring, when the additional assistance of the federal government helped many of Nevada's most vulnerable workers displaced by COVID.
If we would just open up,
That replaced roughly.
just
100%
open up
of
and
all
continue
that reality
to,
no longer exists.
wear masks,
At the time
do
Nevada
all the
was
protocol,
under stay-at-home orders,
I think
many individuals,
it would be
families, and
okay.
businesses had
I mean,
saved
call me
enough to help
crazy,
them hold
but
on.
then 250,000 people would have their jobs again, including some of my family members and friends. People that I worked with have lost their jobs.
Individuals and gave state and local governments funding to provide a safety net. As of today, none of those things exist. Personal savings accounts have been depleted. The state emptied its rainy day fund in the spring to address our massive budget deficit. The funding we received through the Federal CARES Act is set to expire at the end of this year. Meaning the programs created by state and local governments to assist Nevadans directly will have to stop in a couple of weeks. According to one of our state economists, to return to full stay-at-home restrictions without the savings and assistance we had in the spring would put us in a position that would be as bad.
He
or
actually
worse
hasn't
than the
said
Great
yet if
Depression.
he's shutting down anything.
That means return the historic unemployment.
He just said he's
numbers with
continuing
significant demand for public
the pause.
with no
which-
funds to pay for it. If we
What
put this
happens
into every Nevadan
is
right
there's
now,
no
we have
shows,
the ability to stay-
Restaurants can't continue at 25% occupancy.
Now I'm talking
You
local
can't run a
government
show with
hospitality
50 people.
I know it's hard for the Nevadans to
Half of the
reconcile
crew
other
and
our
performers is
economy
50 people.
Well, the state's casinos are open. I get why it's hard to reconcile that fact, but I want to talk honestly with you. The gaming industry is under the same restrictions as many of our small businesses, and in some cases, even tougher restrictions. Restaurants and bars and casinos face the same capacity limits as
Same.
those in our neighborhood.
Mhm.
Gaming floors have been reduced.
Which he
to
could have
25%
updated
as well.
that.
In fact, under the authority of the Gaming Control Board, the gaming industry is arguably the most regulated industry in the state.
It
They
is.
hold privileged licenses. They must follow strict mitigation directives and face tough consequences if they don't.
This is true. We get fined up
And I
the
think
yin
it's
yang.
important to make this 100% clear. When I think of the gaming industry, I'm not losing sleep at night because I'm worried about their stock prices or whether gaming executives are going to make it through the pandemic and be able to keep a roof over their heads. I lose sleep at night because when we were under a stay-at-home order in the spring, we lost 250,000 jobs in 3 months in this state. And that's largely due to casinos being closed for 78 days.
Because you close
I'm
them.
thinking of our blackjack dealers, our cooks, our valet drivers, our housekeepers, and our performers. They're what makes our amazing hospitality industry, which makes up one of the largest units of workers in our state. That's why I work with our legislature, our employers, our labor unions, and workers to pass the strongest hospitality COVID protection in the nation. These are the folks we're fighting to protect. It's the hundreds of thousands of Nevadans who take pride. They take pride in showing up every day for work and the ability to give them to provide for their families. If we take that away, the bottom falls out for our entire state. The numbers I walked through a moment ago prove that. And here's why else giving
Our numbers are up like everybody else's.
Doesn't seem to understand. If this has to shut down again, the state loses an estimated $52 million in gaming tax revenue a month. $52 million a month in tax revenue. That doesn't include room taxes, live entertainment taxes, and more. But when I say revenue, I mean the money that the state has to give to use for direct assistance to Nevadans in the form of schools, public and mental health, food banks, and more. It helps fund the critical services we rely on, the safety net Nevadans need. That's why it is devastated through this pandemic. I want to remind you all.
How about Governor Sisolak donate his earnings to people that lost their jobs so they can eat and pay some bills?
Their state budget reflected recovery from the Great Recession. It took 10 years for the state and Nevada to claw back from that. I am so grateful to our former governor, Brian Sandoval, and all the Nevada residents who worked so hard during this time to get us there. Because of that 10-year recovery, I was able to include the largest amount of funding for mental health services in the state's history, among other achievements. But it took 10 years. And here we are now, at another inflection point. I certainly don't want to lose another 10 years of
Boy, that quality
back when we were
really sucks up there.
So when I talk to you about what the state is going to do, and about revenue, and about unemployment, or safety, it is not lost on me that the decisions we make today and how we handle this balancing act right now will have generational impacts. The decisions I make and all of you make in the coming months will determine how we're going to recover over the next
couple of months.
And this balancing act includes factors that too often get lost in the larger debate, but are just as important to consider. It's always things that we don't always hear about. This week, it was reported that Nevada has seen a 50% increase in opioid and fentanyl involved drugs.
Of course, because everyone's at home depressed, so they're going to pop the pills.
Second quarter of 2020. That's startling. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it's happening in the middle of this pandemic. I could go on and on, and I know you. Well,
let's think about this. In March and April and May, anyone who had suicidal tendencies or have already killed themselves, and they didn't even have COVID. They're already gone. They should be helping people that have mental problems, provide counseling. He doesn't talk anything about that. Give free counseling. See, now it disconnected me. Grrr. Wait, in this state, the mental facilities and help for like healthcare help or mind, like people that need help, like help to talk to somebody, can't really get it unless they make a lot of money. And during a pandemic, they should be providing some kind of free counseling. It kicked me out. They got a troll on me. Now I have to refresh it.
Secured millions of masks, gloves, gowns, and tests using their international relationships and supply.
It kicked me out.
secured millions of masks, gloves, gowns, and tests using their international relationships and supply chains. Because we weren't getting enough from the life-saving resources from Washington, D.C.
Here we go.
The state has been
Here we go. Let's blame the other guy. You're in charge, dude. You could have got those masks.
Just hang in there. We don't see any planes flying overhead. Instead, every day, I wake up to a new headline about those in charge in Washington, D.C.
Don't blame the other guy. You're in charge. You can provide masks. Just so simple. There we go, blaming the Republicans. The loser. Look, they keep chopping me off of there. Like they kick me out or somehow. How is that even possible? Do I have a troll watching? You better go away. Why do we gotta point, like blame the other, like the people in charge, and just do the pandemic, help people. Who cares? Do something for people. Don't go there and waste people's time. That's just so annoying. He's in charge. He can do things. Instead, he wants to point the blame. Who has time? It's a pandemic. Do something.
We all said we're going to do this because we're going to protect Nevada in this moment. It's not easy. Compromise often seems to be the hardest path, but we prove it possible if you throw the politics to the side.
Yeah, well, you just blamed.
I hope and pray that
let's throw it aside. What a hypocrite.
If we've learned anything over the last 5 months, so we have to figure out how to get through this on our own.
He just wasted our time blaming Washington. You're part of the big wheel, dude.
Or we continue the downward path of massive loss of public health. There's some hope on the horizon. As I mentioned earlier, we know the vaccine is on the way. There's always some hope that we could get additional funding from the federal government. But as of right now, neither of those things exist. So in the absence of this leadership and support.
Oh, your leadership. You're in charge. You were left in charge.
I believe that we can all work together to make sure we maximize the benefits.
Here we go, blaming the other guy.
And I call upon all of you to join. Helping our state make
ridiculousness. Utter stupidity. Idiocracy. You're killing Nevada. You're killing Las Vegas.
Come before you again with tougher action. So in this moment, amidst a dire economic situation, the surge of the virus, we all remain on the front lines of this battle. Tired, worn out.
They like took his face off.
Power. We have a choice. We can look to our neighbors, to the left and to the right, and say every man and woman for themselves. Or we can look at our fellow.
He has a private jet and everything. He could have bought masks for his people in Vegas.
We are all we have at this moment. If we want to avoid another Great Depression, avoid preventable
He's like
death,
threatening us. He's threatening us.
While our healthcare workers are literally crying for help. We will rise.
You're not helping. You're not helping.
A lot of folks have been talking about the American people, that we don't look out for one another. That's like some other countries do. I'm going to wholeheartedly reject that today for the state of Nevada. I refuse to believe what they're saying.
They took his face off of the screen.
I refuse to believe that we do not love our neighbors as we love ourselves. I refuse to believe that we do not care about the poor among us. I refuse to believe that.
Megan? Hi, Governor. Thanks for doing this. I just wanted to ask, with the holidays coming up, is it safe for people to travel to Nevada over the holidays, including to Las Vegas for New Year's Eve? Why or why not?
They shut it down. There's no New Year's Eve. There's no fireworks.
To Nevada over the holiday period, that they practice our protocols, that they respect our protocols, that they wear a mask, that they practice social distancing, that they avoid large gatherings. If they do so, we feel that everybody can be safe. If they don't want to follow those protocols and they refuse to be part of the solution, then they should probably stay home. Safety is a partnership with us, with our resort community, and with our visitors. We need everybody to do their part.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Governor. We'll go to Colton Lockhart of the Las Vegas Review-Journal for the next question. Colton?
Hey, Governor, can you hear me? Oh, Governor, hello?
We can hear you, Colton. Go ahead.
All right. So we've been under the pause for about 3 weeks now. Do you and your team believe that the current mitigation measures are working to slow the spread, given the continued spread of the virus, increase in deaths, hospitalizations, and other metrics?
I apologize, Cole, I didn't hear the first part of your question. Could you ask me one more time?
Yes, we've been under the pause for about 3 weeks now with these current stricter measures. Do you and your team believe that these current mitigation measures are working to slow the spread, given the metrics that we're seeing in that time?
Obviously, we've seen numbers increase over this time, but I do feel that the mitigation measures are working. I mean, but for these measures that we've got, I think our numbers would be a lot higher than they currently are. The majority of Nevada
They're higher.
practicing the protocols. They're wearing a mask. They are practicing social distancing. But as a study at the University of Washington showed, if we could go from 74% compliance to 95% compliance, we'd save 1,000 lives between now and April. That would affect a lot of families. So they're working.
Oh, hi,
really
Chris.
more.
This is the governor of
Thank you,
Nevada.
Colton. Thank you, Governor. We'll go to the next question. Madison, I believe last name is K. Madison?
We've waited 3 weeks for him to speak.
Hi, Governor. Thank you so much for your time. Now that the pause is being extended until January, is
So
there
it's like a
anything
press
you have to
conference,
say to
and
businesses
thanks
that are
for
struggling
joining.
without any support from your end, despite the lack of federal assistance right now?
Here they
Well, you
go.
know, I understand how business
Here they
is. We're doing everything we can to protect.
He's left in charge,
of those businesses.
and these people want to
And
blame
them.
the other guy.
Our delegation is working to help us with the federal assistance, but we have to do what we can. Safety is a priority for all of us. That's what we are focusing on, and we're hopeful that, this extension will get us where we need to go with the combination of the extension.
That was totally, that was a full-blown attack against, like, it doesn't solve anything when you're blaming the other party.
Question, Brian?
Hey, thank you so much. So I got a two-part question for you. One, when
Just fix the problem. What a loaded question.
Regulations could we possibly be looking at, and have you reached out or spoken with the incoming president, Joe Biden, about receiving possible extended federal assistance?
Here he goes.
Get into the hypotheticals about, what we could put into place.
Using this press conference for political leverage,
Of the pause.
where he could do so much. He's left in charge.
As it relates to the vice president and our vice president-elect Biden and Kamala Harris, we have been in discussion with their teams. They understand the difficulty that we're facing, but you've got to understand they're going to be in office for 5 weeks. That's a long time from now that we have to hang on.
I can't listen to him anymore. This is like a political stunt. So basically he, at the beginning, I don't think I could rewind it because it's still going. But at the beginning, he said he's going to continue the stay-at-home order. It was a 3-week pause. It started on the 4th, November 24, where he's going to extend it. And he's saying the numbers are higher, which we know, we've seen it, we've seen the numbers are higher all over the world. And except for like Hawaii, they got a really good count. But anyway, there you go. So basically, you won't be able to go to a show. Some of the restaurants still can't open. There's no New Year's Eve celebration. Hi, XX Cobra. So at the beginning of this, it was the governor of the Nevada just saying, all this stuff, and they pretty much just geared it. The whole discussion is geared towards not having support from Washington, which is he's in charge, the governor's in charge, and he could like sell his private jet, donate masks, whatever, help Nevadans, like give away his income and just donate, his income or something, I don't know. It's just, I kind of knew this was going to happen, but this is killing Las Vegas. This is killing, like, I have family members that can't even work. And I have friends that still haven't been called to work. Some have already lost their job. They decided that their job won't continue. And the rest of this press conference is pretty much geared at bashing, blaming the other guy instead of problem solving. And I'm not going to listen to that crap. I'm sick of it. We need a solution. Okay? Solutions. Open it back up. Just open everything up. But don't have such crazy restrictions. Like 50 people for even a place that has occupancy that can hold thousands, where you could spread people out. And I'm not gonna, I'm just not gonna keep going. But there you go. So now that he speaks, this is what happens. After he speaks, then the casinos and the hotels and those businesses, small and large, and corporations, will figure out if they're going to continue to run on 25% occupancy or continue to have some of the restaurants open, or they're gonna figure out what they're gonna do. I am going to think that some of these places are going to have to shut down business because they're not going to be able to continue, because it costs more to pay the people that show up than have 25% occupancy. It would be better for them to shut down, and then there'll be more people losing business. Most of these small business owners that have been over their head, just barely over water, are now like hand over the water and sinking, and they're going to have to shut down because, I mean, they're not going to be able, you can't sustain a business with no business, with, like, I don't even know how Las Vegas is even going on. I just don't. I just don't understand it. It's like a miracle that, you can go right now and there's casinos open, but there's some of the hotels that aren't in the midweek. That's what's going to keep happening. And who's to say? You should have seen how much money Las Vegas made on conventions and events, sporting events, concerts. We don't have any of those happening right now. And this is really killing us. I don't know how we're going to survive. I'm just going to say a prayer. I'm upset. I don't know if I could blame anybody. I'd like to, like, he just wants to throw the blame instead of solving problems. He's just a puppet. I mean, we could have better leadership. He wants to blame it on somebody else instead of doing something about it. So that's what we have. And that's all you could do. There's nothing else I could talk about. It's just upsetting. And I have family in California that are in lockdown. I have friends that are in lockdown. And yes, this is real. I'm not going to deny it. This is real. This is really happening. There's people out there that don't believe this is even real. But whatever they think, but me personally, I know this is real. And anyway, yeah, so there it is. Now there'll be announcements from the corporations and the casinos as to what's going to happen. There's probably going to be more jostling around, like some of the towers and some of the hotels have multiple towers, have already shut down one of those towers and left one tower open. And some of them are open 7 days a week, and some aren't open 7 days a week. So I remember before this, some of the restaurants were going to open for New Year's Eve just to accommodate the holiday guests for the special occasion. We don't know if that's probably going to happen. We're going to have to see now. There'll probably be another update later after I hear the facts. I don't want to really like fill in the gap with opinion, but it's just a given, you know. And yeah, this is a touchy subject, and I don't normally go on like a political rant, but this is a real deal. This is happening all over, not just in Las Vegas. And anyway, thanks for watching, and I wish it was a better topic. If you want a better topic, I just had a live stream before this one that was more fun. And just thanks for watching, and I'm not going to go on too much of a rant because I can really go off. But anyway, you have a nice rest of your evening, and I'm just going to go sit and probably go take a walk because I'm kind of upset right now. Probably to walk the dog. I'm upset. Yeah, the cookies. I'm going to probably eat the cookies after they set. And anyway, that's all I have to say, because if I continue, there will be cursing and name calling, which I'm not even going to go there. So anyway, thanks for watching. And I wish it would have looked a little more clearer, but yay, I can only do what I could only do with what I've given. Thanks for watching. Yeah, well, that made me laugh. Thank you. That's funny. Bye. I'm going to go blow off steam somewhere. Not live. Bye.